Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And what you're seeing on screen is a post I made over on X. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out for those of you who'd like to follow me on X. So this morning, Ulf Edwardson, the technology, he's in charge of the T-Mobile network. He presented at Mobile World Congress in Vegas. And literally in the first 10 minutes of that presentation, we got more updates from the network than we did in all 4.5 hours of the investor day. And the three main updates we got today: 332 million pops of 5G. So that's the low band scale of pops. He also gave an update on the ultra capacity, 302 million pops covered today. So they deployed an additional 2 million pops, which is impressive, right? When you get past 300, you're deploying to very rural areas. So the sites are really spread out. So since the announcement of 300 million pops, they deployed an additional 2 million pops, which is quite impressive, especially getting into that very rural territory. And then today, again, he confirmed 300 million pops of voice over new radio or voice over NR. He confirmed that again today. I have that clip, and he did confirm that again today. He made that very well known. At the Investors Day, he also said it, but you really couldn't hear it. But during this presentation, you could hear him loud and clearly. 300 million pops of voice over NR now. So this is pretty much active across the entire network. At 300 million pops, you've turned it on across Ericsson and Nokia land as well. So some of you may have not noticed it. Some of you may not have turned a toggle on. I believe now on the Galaxies, there's a toggle as well to turn on 5G voice over NR. I know there's toggles for the iPhones. So make sure you go under the cellular settings and you check on that. If you're even into that, right? The average consumer, they really don't care. As long as their calls work, they don't care if it's on LTE or voice over NR or voice over LTE. They don't really care, right? But for the tech enthusiasts, as we move through the rest of this year, he also, again, doubled down on 5G Advanced. He said that's launching by the end of this year. So there's going to be some additional performance boosts to the network coming just by doing 5G Advanced. And then what I showed you guys yesterday, the 3283, the Ericsson Massive MIMO air panel being deployed for AWS and PCS, that's another big piece, right? That in itself is more capacity because that can handle more users, spectral efficiency from the same site. It can increase capacity by 3 times without adding another site, just by adding that panel for AWS and PCS. So quite impressive. Good to see they continue to build out the ultra capacity piece, 332 million pops of 5G. He did not give an update on the square miles covered. I would say 2.2, 2.3 million now covered with 5G. If I had to take a guess, I know last time they updated 2.1, but they've clearly been building out even more. I mean, now it's 332 million pops. So I believe, if I remember correctly, during LTE, they got to like 340 million or something like that. So I think they have a little ways to go to get to covering all of their LTE network with 5G. But this is fairly great scale. I mean, this is something that AT&T and Verizon are going to be chasing for a while longer, right? Maybe even into next year, maybe well into 2026, where AT&T and Verizon will still be building to just match that footprint that T-Mobile has today on just the initial mid-band layer. And then, T-Mobile is already actively refarming and moving AWS PCS, which are more mid-band layers. And then now, as you saw yesterday, the Ericsson 3283 is being deployed, FDD, Massive MIMO, and now 5G Advanced. I mean, T-Mobile is just quite ahead when it comes to 5G. And that's the initial thoughts on that when I first made those videos. For those of you who remember, anything that evolves around 5G, T-Mobile needs to be it, right? If they're the leader in 5G and they're so far advanced and ahead, then any new technology, any new company that wants to do anything with 5G, they should be going to T-Mobile. That's what that should tell us, right? That should be the case, because nobody should be, at least in the short to midterm, nobody should be beating T-Mobile on the technology piece when it comes to 5G. And that's what they're displaying. And they continue to invest into that. So by the end of the year, these numbers that you see here on screen will be already outdated, I feel, right? We could be end of year, we could be 303 million pops with mid-band, 330, 334 on the 5G portion. And then who knows where voice over NR will be by the end of the year. But it's just going to keep going up and up and up, right? We're not going backwards. They're going to go forward. And then the scale of 5G Advanced will also be important to track. I think 5G Advanced it's good for the user, right? There's some additional technologies there. But I think 5G Advanced is also good for the carrier, because there's additional efficiencies like MIMO sleep seems to be a bigger deal for 5G Advanced that will save them costs on the operation side, on the networking side. So it makes everything more efficient, but it also enhances or further enhances the network experience for the consumer. So just wanted to point that out. I watched the presentation, was fairly quick, was like 18, I think it was like 18 minutes or so. So not much additional. There is another 5G on demand that they announced today. It's called 5G on demand. I want to talk about that in another video. But today I just wanted to present these network updates because we didn't get any during the Capital Markets Day or Investors Day. But now, like I said, within the first 10 minutes of the opening remarks on Mobile World Congress, we got these updates, which I would have at least hoped we got some of them during the Investors Day, but we didn't. But we got them nonetheless, so make sure you check out my X. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See y'all in the next one. Peace.